Hello, everybody, and welcome to Electric City Sentai Denzicaster, your weekly walk into the wonderful world of Tokusatsu. I'm your host, Mike, and I'm joined this week by the Chopsaki crew.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Woot woot. I'm Josh, Joe Gibkin's homeboy, and the one that doles out the what-tie Chopsaki.
I'm just William.
He is William, the hater of all things Sailor Moon, and the despiser...
Not everything.
And the despiser of the Biomotion Buster, but more on that later.
It knows what it did. Or didn't do, specifically.
What it doesn't do.
So folks,
Why they can't...
We'll get there. We'll get there. You've seen Will talk about Live Man on this show before. You know what's coming.
I do like the show.
He just doesn't like that
One
2-minute portion. Okay, so we're looking at episode 19. Geek.
5 seconds. I counted that shit.
We're looking at episode 19, Geek Boy Obler, and episode 20, Failing Obler's Counterattack. So, real high-level synopsis. If you want in-depth stuff, Google that. So basically, I am totally wrong. This is actually the first 2 parts of a 3-part story arc for Obler. Basically, a new brain beast shows up, and we wind up with this shocking revelation for Obler and his life and so on. We are greeted by Gildos, who is an alien who wants to come and study at the feet of Professor Bias, whose intelligence is known across the cosmos, apparently. That all begins in episode 19 and into episode 20. For his failures, Go has been kicked out of the Brain Army Vault, and he has to go home and resume his experiments trying to become the ultimate version of his monster form Obler on his own. Go Omura, his name before he lost his damn mind. But that is what goes on in episode 20, where we find out that basically he had his own mad science lair the entire time.
And it was his mama's house.
And it was in his mama's basement. So, episodes 19 and 20. Josh, you got to watch some more Live Man.
Yeah,
What do you think?
One of the things, again, still love it.
Mm-hmm.
Very I actually, in last week's, I said, what would I like to see? I would like to see one of the generals actually show some rebellion. And this is not exactly the same, but still, you get to see one of the generals actually, as he's cast out, having to resort to his own devices outside of the organization.
Yes.
And the fact that to say he handles it poorly is an understatement. Because, I like the thing about how, especially when he turned into human, Yellow thinks this is the greatest thing. You're back! You're Go! And he said, shut up! I'm a monster! I'm a general! Leave me alone! Fear me! And he's crying and trying to run away.
First impressions, Will? All you really missed was a couple of filler episodes, one of which was Nightmare Fuel galore.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
And you actually missed a Mazinda episode that was really good.
It was really good, yeah.
That sucks.
But
I have to try and watch that at some point in time.
But let's talk about Obler. What do you think of the beginnings of this 3-parter for Obler?
The fact that I did like the part that he when Dr. Bias basically shocks all of them with the little needle talons, and then and Obler just goes rips them out and throws them in the ground and makes this big proclamation to him that he won't fail this time. I thought that was just somebody tired of your shit.
Basically, where he's I will realize my potential to become the greatest brain beast of all time.
I was I like that little show of I'm tired. I was I'm sick and tired. I'm gonna do this shit my way. I like that kind of thing.
Or he goes off and basically says, I'm going to make a brain beast out of myself.
Yep.
Which...
In fact, I thought that was kind of did he just say he going to make himself out of a brain beast? Okay. Man, okay. See how that works.
So what did we like about those couple episodes, Will?
I just like Live Man in general. I think it's a fun little show.
Sure. Anything in these couple episodes, though, stand out for you?
The introduction of the new alien. That was kind of like I wasn't expecting that. It was like, how many episodes is this? Because
it's about 50.
About 50
it's a year long.
This is the standard.
yeah,
Like,
it's about right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
we're
about there.
about 40% through the series
Yeah,
now.
so I was expecting that something of that kind of story arc to come a little, maybe like 2-3 more episodes later.
Sure.
But I like that they did it now.
Mhm.
So I got to see it. It's awesome. 'Cause my work schedule sucks. So
How about you, Josh? What do we like?
I liked the approach of Geek Boy, the Brain Beast Geek Boy, where where his evil scheme, it literally is, not only is reading fundamental, it is required upon pain of death.
Yes.
Where he gives them the Volt Bible, which is a little red book. It's the Volt Manifesto.
And they have to hold it. It's stuck to the victim's hands. Ignore those pictures. It's stuck to the picture's hands, victim's hands like this. They can't close it. They can't have it removed from their hands. I mean, it will shock them and whoever
And
tries.
until they finish reading it.
And I
It's
like
the only way it can.
at the beginning of, at the end of this first episode, where they seem to have an upper hand against Geek Boy, where Geek Boy is against his will forced to ride a roller coaster
And forced to have fun.
and forced to roll in a mud puddle and play a game of catch. And he's starting to come around, and then of course, like goes like moron.
Yes.
Don't have fun. That and one other thing, in episode 20, I like the initial no sell of the cannon.
Yes. Where the alien on his debut has a way to project a shield that will stop the biomotion buster.
And they are like the Team Live Man is like, what the deuce?
Yeah.
This never happened.
Yeah. No one's
What do
around
we
this
do
before.
now?
It's not like the motherfucker works anyway.
So, anywho, my biggest like out of these episodes really is they are starting. These episodes are further proof that Liveman's story is driven by its villains. So, in this one, the beginning of the evolution of Obler, I loved the Brain Beast because kind of like how.
Second one. The Geek Boy Brain Beast, I wasn't too big a fan.
Oh no, man! He kind of had a Mars Attacks vibe to it.
Yes, he did.
Well, it's not
But the second Brain Beast. I like that one.
Sure, but the reason I like the Geek one is not so much because of the actual design of the costume. I could have took that and left it, but and this is one of those where you had missed an episode, so it kind of wreaks a little bit of havoc because it's the beginning of a trend. Yeah. In Mazinda's episode, they basically create a brain called the twin Brain Beast, and it is made from all of the love and compassion that was left in Mazinda from her life before. And it calls itself Ray, and it basically falls in love with Yellow Lion.
Oh.
And they wind up having to... and Mazinda winds up destroying it, basically killing any compassion that was left in her. But she breaks a little bit, and you see tears coming as she does
Basically, she laughs, and then it's great because in the mid-laugh, she starts crying.
And so it's proof that there is still love and compassion in her. It's just pushed way down. I like this because this beast is made from Obler, but the beast really just wants to play. Once it's exposed to it, it remembers it wants to do that. So it shows that there is some joy and some childhood left in Dr. Obler. So I like that they're using essentially the monsters to show that there's something left in these guys of their humanity. So that I really dig out of this pair of episodes. The alien coming in and sort of the new alien general, cool introduction. I like the way they did it, where nobody knew what the heck it was. Kind of, you almost get the vibe at first, not even Bias knows until they show up and introduce themselves. Like, we have now shown you what we can do. I want to introduce myself and be your apprentice. That's kind of the way it's handled. I think it was done very, very well. Since Will's dislikes are by far going to be the most amusing because we are going to hear yet another rant about the team weapon. So, anything you didn't like, Josh?
No, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's consistent with the theme of the series, which is that I mean, even in the credits, every time it says, "How can you, being our friends, sell your soul to the devil?"
Yes.
Where they constantly, Team Liveman hopes desperately that their friends can be redeemed.
Yes.
Even so, but I mean, I guess just mainly and this isn't really a criticism of the series, just how. Just compared to how, like, Obloid looks in his beast form, when he goes back into Ghost form, he's kind of a weenie.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Kind of was.
Yeah. And then he's like, my secret lair, which is in my mom's basement.
If that's not like a nerd trope, I don't know.
My dislikes on the episode, not many. This pair of episodes, the makeup effects for Go, when he kind of goes through goes from being Go to Obler and then to being what he calls the most perfect form of Obler, the full-on monster form, sort of that in-between form, the makeup looked dodgy as hell. And so...
it's 80s transformation effects, which, yeah.
But they made it look much better earlier in the series, is why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
So... In this instance, it just looked really kind of just thrown on, and so the skin tones didn't mesh well. To me, that didn't work. The only other thing I think I saw out of these pair of episodes that I didn't care for, and just as I said earlier, the show, this kind of cements the idea that the show is driven by its villains from a story standpoint. That also, to me, kind of makes a detriment to the show in that it's not driven by its heroes. The heroes have evolved very little compared to their villainous counterparts. You can look at that as a good sign that they have steadfast in their beliefs. We're going to save you. We're going to redeem you. Nothing will stop us from doing that. And they have held fast to that. But at the same time, you don't see as much growth out of those characters than you do.
I guess this is kind of what, like, several of us basically where, like what Sam was watching with, and Sam said, it's insanity if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, which they do a lot.
Yeah.
So the whole thing of, they've shown some character development, but only in relation to...
But only in the frame of one episode.
Well, it's not even that. It was the whole thing of their past relationships with the doctors when they were human. That was the only kind of character development they've shown with some of the heroes. And I'm just like, I understand that, because it's, like I said, it's sticking steadfast to the whole, we'll redeem you no matter what, we still believe you're good people, no matter what, that kind of thing. I understand, and that's what it seems like it's leading to. But I'm starting to want to see some actual story and character development with the heroes.
Yeah, I would like to see something where, even at some point, I've watched the show all the way through, but it's been a long time. Like, I did not even remember this triple set of episodes. I remembered there being, like, a Dr. Obler-focused batch of episodes somewhere in the series. I just did not remember the details of them. And truthfully, if I recall correctly, there's more than one. But it's... I almost kind of want at some point for there to be... And we're still relatively early in the show. It's 20 episodes out of a roughly 50 episode series. We're not even halfway home. But there's that part where he goes, are we going to get an episode where one of them just goes, can we save them? You know, is there anything left to save?
You want to see a little bit of doubt?
Yeah. Because after this happens time and time and time again, sooner or later, that's the next logical evolution. And that becomes the doubt becomes the obstacle for the heroes to overcome. Yeah. And so I'm kind of... That's something I would like to see going forward. Will, how about that big old gun?
Fuck that big old gun.
Hashtag FTBOG.
You haven't been here for one of these Bio Motion Buster rants, have you?
No, because when I saw it, I'm like, it's kind of cool.
No, it's fucking useless. Like, well, seriously, I actually timed that out. I said this in another episode before. All you gotta do is, like, because apparently it takes 5 seconds for that bitch to charge up, right? Right when they shoot the one dude, they could already have another shot being cycled up. Just turn to the right. Turn to the right. Let him get off the little monster girl thing. That's cool and all. I can respect that. But please, just blast one shot and just miss him, okay? Just make an attempt to shoot that motherfucker.
So at this point, you'd be like, even if you just took a shot.
Yes, even because I'm pretty
You ain't got to hit him.
Yeah, I'm pretty much giving up on them actually deciding, hey, we was like, hey, you know what we should do? That fucker standing up on the hill over there, let's take a shot at him first.
Did you not know? Well, you might not have been here. On one, he wasn't even up on the hill. He was on the beach,
Yes,
like
he
right
was.
next to it. And it's like,
he's like, ha
and there's
get
no-
off, Phantom.
and there's no way he snuck up on them because his back was to the ocean.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he came up over the ridge.
And at that point, just turn. Seriously, just 5 more seconds. Take 5 more seconds just to turn to the right and be like, boom, I'm done with you.
Gush was the one on the grassy knoll. That's what this brings to me.
Yeah.
So,
Back into the left.
yeah.
But actually, Willem, we were talking about a theory that when they get the other Rangers, that they just keep the 2 extra Rangers to be there when he shows up and just hockey shirt him the minute he tries to fire the bazooka.
Get him! Shove him down the hill.
So, closing thoughts on these couple episodes of Live Man.
I still want to think. I just still want to see that motherfucker work once and just have it. Just let the episode end with them killing him with that, and then he stays dead. 1 episode. That's all I ask.
They gotta sell the mecha.
I understand that. I understand the formula and how this is supposed to work. Just 1 episode, because even the Power Rangers and even the Power Rangers did that shit. Where the big Mega Buster cannon that they had, that shit worked for 1 episode. 1 episode. That you can't give me one. Just 1 episode where that just worked. Oh.
I'm just saying it's not an efficient piece of machinery. It's not custom efficient machinery like the K9 cannon is in Deca Ranger.
So
That's a cannon and an emotional support animal.
And your closing thoughts, Josh?
Well, this, even though he did not play as big a role in this, even the episodes I've seen, Ashra is my favorite general.
Oh yeah. I need to get you back to where you can see his origin story because you would love it.
Because where he showed, like in Geek Boy, where he shows up and then he brings in his crew rolling 4 deep with and then their super movie just bloodshed and they just effing massacre this brain bee.
So they apparently their weapon is more effective than the Biomotion Buster, basically. But what I'm looking forward to more of Live Man because this is I've said it before, I've said it again, this is one of my all-time favorite Super Sentai shows, and part of the joy for me is getting to not only rewatch it but share it with folks, and so. I'm glad they're digging it. So far, I don't think anyone has actually sat down and said they didn't like it.
Because I actually say about this is that this is, like the other ones, like Choujuu Ranger, the other 80s ones, I've been kind of like, but I really like this 80s Sentai show.
You haven't, well, Choujuu Ranger was 90s. And 90s, it gets a little dicey sometimes. Okay. But like the 80s, you have Change Man, Flash Man, Live Man, Bio Man. You have a stretch of about 5 or 6 that are all considered just incredibly good.
So that's my my bad because I was like thinking of the 90s ones.
90s, you get like 5 Man, which I've never watched all the way through. You get Jetman, which is fantastic. Choujuu Ranger was really good. Check out my Denzi Blitz on it. Ding. Die Ranger was really good. Car Ranger, I haven't seen all of, but it's a little haha for my taste. O Ranger supposedly almost killed Super Sentai. And then let's see. Mega Ranger is supposed to be really good. There's some hit and miss in the 90s, to be honest, for quality. But yeah, Live Man is tremendous. So, and you can bank on seeing some older Super Sentai creep up here on Denzicaster in the future, because we have a request in from Dave that he wants us to watch some of these shows that became Mighty Morphin.
Okay.
And I don't know that we'll
actually wouldn't mind seeing some of those.
I don't know that we'll ever do Choujuu Ranger on Denzicaster, only because I did it for Denzi Blitz.
Okay.
And so, but if we do handle Choujuu Ranger, you just might not see me in those episodes. Maybe we'll watch it and I'll bow out and someone else can host those.
That one?
Yes.
Okay.
But Die Ranger became Power Rangers Season 2. And so we got the Zords, we got the Mecha, and we got the White Ranger, and that was all we got. We did not get anything else.
I have seen a little bit of... What I saw of Die Ranger was pretty good.
It is. It's a Chinese martial arts theme-based Sentai.
Okay.
And so it's really good. So that might be something that comes up on our agenda in the not-too-distant future.
Okay.
So, folks, until next time, I think that about wraps us up for this week. So you can check us out on social media. We are at Geek Carolina on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram. You can find us at Denzicaster on Facebook. You can find these guys at Chopsaki Cinema on Facebook.
That's right.
Check them out on Chopsaki Cinemas every Wednesday here on Geek Carolina, unless real life interferes, in which case check them out every week. They'll show up eventually. And then, also, if you'd like to help us out, jump over to our new Cafe Press store. It's cafepress.com/geekcarolina. A bunch of the old material from the old ECS store is slowly migrating there, and there's going to be some new stuff too. For instance, there might be a shirt that just says hashtag FYBB. Fuck your biomotion buster. We'll make that one for Will.
I'll wear that motherfucker.
Just be like, and I reiterate. And I reiterate.
Hashtag, baby.
So, it wouldn't be the first time we made a shirt out of a hashtag, see? So, hashtag Sincere Shaolin Fist. That's another show we gotta watch.
I'll keep burning the torch till it comes back, people.
So, folks, until next time, I'm Mike.
I'm Josh.
William.
And we'll see you next week on Denzicaster.